Have you ever wondered why, on some days, everything seems to be fine, yet you still don't feel truly happy? We may have jobs, families, and comforts that previous generations never had, and still, deep inside, we feel empty, worried, or unsettled. The truth is this: happiness is not about how much money you have, how many possessions you own, or how successful you appear to be. Happiness is not a destination you need to chase. It is about how you live each day, each moment. The Buddha once taught, happiness does not depend on external conditions. It is created by our own mind. This means you don't need to wait until you're wealthy, or until life is perfect. To be happy, you can begin to feel joy today, right now, simply by shifting the way you see and live. In this talk, we'll explore 8 teachings from the Buddha to find happiness in everyday life. These are not distant philosophies. They are practical steps you can apply immediately, from breathing, eating, working, to facing challenges with peace of mind. If you're ready, let's begin with the very first teaching, and perhaps the most important foundation of happiness: living in the present moment. One of the greatest sources of unhappiness is our habit of living anywhere but here and now. We replay the past in our minds, regrets, mistakes, what-ifs. Or we worry about the future, what might happen, what could go wrong, how we'll deal with uncertainty. But while our minds wander between yesterday and tomorrow, we forget the only time that truly exists: this very moment. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This teaching may sound simple, but it carries a powerful truth. The past is gone. You cannot change it. The future has not arrived. You cannot control it. The only moment you can touch, shape, and live fully is now. Imagine this. You're sitting here, listening to these words. This is real. This is life unfolding. Everything else, the regrets of yesterday, the worries of tomorrow, are only thoughts. Overthinking fades when you embrace the present moment. There's a famous Buddhist story of a monk and his young disciple who came to a river. The monk crossed calmly, step by step, simply aware of his body and breath. But the disciple hesitated, overthinking every danger: the rushing water, the slippery stones, the fear of being swept away. The monk turned back and said gently, "The river is always flowing, but the only way to cross it is to be fully present right now." This story reminds us, when you're stuck in the past or trapped in the future, you miss the very life that's happening in front of you. So how do we practice this in daily life? When eating, put away your phone. Taste each bite. Feel gratitude for the food. When walking, notice your steps. Feel your feet touching the ground. When talking to someone you love, really listen. Don't let your mind wander elsewhere. These simple acts of presence transform ordinary moments into sources of peace. The present moment is where joy lives, where clarity arises, and where true happiness can be found. Every time you catch yourself drifting into regret or worry, gently return. Here, now. Because this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this smile, is all you truly have, and it is enough. Be content, the power of knowing enough. If there's one reason so many of us feel restless and unhappy, it's this: we never feel we have enough. We want more money, more recognition, more success, more things, and even when we get what we want, soon it doesn't feel like enough anymore. The Buddha taught a timeless truth: contentment is the greatest wealth. Think about that for a moment. A person may have little, but if their heart feels full, they are richer than someone who has everything yet constantly craves more. Chasing after endless desires is like drinking salty water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Desire multiplies, and with it comes frustration, comparison, and suffering. But when you learn the art of contentment, of knowing when to say, "This is enough," you discover a deep, quiet happiness that nothing outside of you can take away. Here's a simple story. A man once complained about his small house. He said, "If only I had a bigger one, then I'd be happy." But his wise teacher handed him a single candle and said, "Light this at night." The man did, and suddenly his little house glowed with warmth and beauty. He realized he didn't need a bigger house. What he needed was to appreciate what he already had. This is the power of knowing enough. So how do we practice contentment in daily life? Practice gratitude. Each day, write down 3 things you are thankful for, no matter how small. A meal, a smile, a moment of rest. Gratitude turns little into enough. Shift your focus. Instead of asking, "What am I missing?" ask, "What do I already have that makes life meaningful?" Live simply. The less you clutter your life with endless wants, the more space you create for peace. Contentment does not mean giving up on growth or dreams. It means enjoying the journey, appreciating each step, and not letting cravings steal your joy. The richest life is not measured by possessions, but by the peace in your heart. When you pause, breathe, and realize, "This moment, this life I have right now, is enough," you open the door to real happiness. Cultivating compassion, the heart of true happiness. There is a secret about happiness that many people overlook. True joy doesn't come only from what we receive, but from what we give. The Buddha taught, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule." So often, unhappiness comes from the heavy emotions we carry: anger, jealousy, resentment. We think these emotions punish others, but in reality, they poison our own hearts first. Compassion is the antidote. When we open our hearts to understand and care for others, we lighten our own burdens. Compassion frees us from the prison of self-centered thinking, and it brings us into connection with life itself. Think about it. Have you ever helped someone in need, even in a small way? Maybe holding the door for a stranger, giving a kind word, or listening when someone was in pain. Didn't you feel lighter, warmer, more alive afterward? That's compassion at work. Here's a story. A monk once asked his teacher, "How can I find happiness?" The teacher replied, "Remove the I and remove the want. What remains is happiness." When we let go of ego and desire, and replace them with kindness, peace naturally arises. So how can we cultivate compassion every day? Practice forgiveness. When someone hurts you, remember, holding anger only hurts you more. Choose to forgive, not for them, but for your own peace. Do one act of kindness daily. It doesn't have to be big: a smile, a kind message, helping a neighbor. These small seeds of kindness grow into a happier heart. Expand your perspective. When someone upsets you, instead of reacting with anger, ask, what pain might they be carrying that makes them act this way? Compassion begins with understanding. The Buddha said, "If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your own path." Compassion works like that lamp. The more you share it, the more it illuminates your own life. True happiness is not just about personal pleasure. It is about a heart wide enough to embrace others with love. When you live with compassion, you'll discover that happiness multiplies for you and for everyone you touch. Simplify your life. Freedom in simplicity. In today's world, life often feels overwhelming. We're bombarded with choices, notifications, endless to-do lists, and the constant pressure to have more and do more. And yet, the more complicated life becomes, the harder it is to feel truly happy. The Buddha's wisdom is simple. A simple life brings more joy than a life of luxury and complication. Happiness doesn't come from adding more and more to your life. It comes from removing the unnecessary so you can see what truly matters. Think about a glass of water. If you keep pouring in sand, dirt, and clutter, it becomes cloudy and undrinkable. But if you keep it clear, it shines with purity. Our lives are the same. Simplicity clears the mind, allowing peace to flow naturally. There's a Zen principle called Shibumi, which means the beauty of simplicity. Zen monks live with very few possessions, yet they radiate calm and joy. Why? Because their happiness is not weighed down by excess. So how do we bring simplicity into our own lives? Declutter your space. Start small. Clear one drawer, one shelf, one room. Notice how lighter you feel with less. Simplify your schedule. Do you really need to say yes to every invitation? Every task? Choose what matters. Let go of the rest. Focus on essentials: food, health, relationships, inner peace. These are the things that sustain happiness. Everything else is extra. One monk once said, "The simpler the life, the more profound the meaning." And it's true. When we strip away what doesn't matter, we can finally see and appreciate what does. Imagine eating a simple meal, without distractions, and truly tasting each bite. Imagine spending a quiet evening with loved ones, free from constant notifications. Imagine breathing deeply, without rushing to the next thing. That is freedom. That is happiness. Simplicity is not about giving up joy, it's about making space for it. The more you simplify, the more room you create for peace, clarity, and gratitude. Happiness grows in the garden of simplicity, and every small step toward a simpler life is a step toward a freer, lighter heart. Mindfulness in everyday moments. If there's one golden key to daily happiness, it is this: mindfulness. Mindfulness simply means being fully present, aware, and alive in this very moment. Not lost in the past, not worried about the future, but right here, right now. The Buddha taught, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Too often, we live on autopilot. We eat without tasting. We walk without noticing. We listen without hearing. We live without truly living. Mindfulness changes that. It turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Think about it. A sip of tea becomes a calming ritual. A walk outside becomes a journey of discovery. A conversation becomes a chance to connect deeply. When you are mindful, you realize happiness is not hidden in some faraway place. It's already here, waiting to be seen. Here's a simple practice. Mindful breathing. Wherever you are, pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Just 3 breaths can bring peace. Mindful eating. Before you eat, pause and notice the colors, the textures, the aroma. Chew slowly. With gratitude, eating becomes joy. Mindful walking. With each step, silently say, "I am here. I am alive." Suddenly, walking itself feels like a gift. Thich Nhat Hanh, a modern Buddhist teacher, beautifully said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it." Mindfulness doesn't mean escaping life. It means coming home to it. Even washing dishes, folding clothes, or sitting in traffic can become peaceful when you are truly present. And here's the secret. The more mindful you are, the less room there is for worry, fear, or regret, because those live in the past and future. Joy only lives here, in this moment. So, let mindfulness be your daily companion. Because every mindful breath, every mindful step, every mindful smile, is happiness already blooming in your heart. Gratitude, seeing the beauty already here. One of the fastest ways to feel happiness is not by getting more, but by appreciating what you already have. The Buddha taught, "Let us rise up and be grateful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So, let us all be thankful." Gratitude is the art of turning ordinary life into a miracle. Think about it. How often do we take things for granted? The food on our table, the roof over our heads, the people who care for us, even the simple ability to breathe. These are everyday blessings, yet we overlook them because we're busy chasing something else. But when we pause and truly appreciate, life changes. Suddenly, a glass of clean water feels precious. A smile from a friend feels like a treasure. The morning sun feels like a gift. Here's a story. A poor farmer once complained to the Buddha about his endless problems, his crops, his family, his health. The Buddha listened patiently and then said, "I cannot take away all your problems, but I can give you something greater, a new way of seeing them." He taught the farmer gratitude, to see blessings even among struggles. And from that day, the farmer carried peace in his heart, despite life's challenges. So how can we practice gratitude daily? Morning reflection. When you wake up, think of one thing you're grateful for. Start your day with thanks, and your heart feels lighter. Gratitude journal. Each evening, write down 3 small things you appreciated that day. Over time, this rewires your mind to see beauty everywhere. Say thank you. Express it more often, to others, to life, even silently in your own heart. Gratitude grows when it's shared. Remember, gratitude doesn't erase difficulties, but it shifts our focus from what's missing to what's already here. And that shift is the essence of happiness. The more you practice gratitude, the more life reveals its quiet miracles. And when your heart is full of thanks, there is little room left for sorrow. Letting go, the freedom of release. One of the deepest sources of unhappiness is holding on too tightly, to possessions, to people, to expectations, and even to our own ideas of how life should be. The Buddha taught, "You only lose what you cling to." Clinging creates suffering because nothing in life is permanent. People change, circumstances change, even our own thoughts and feelings shift from moment to moment. When we cling, we fight against this natural flow, and that fight makes us tired and unhappy. Imagine holding a rope that is being pulled away. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hands. But when you release your grip, the pain stops instantly. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering from your attachment. Here's a story. 2 monks were traveling together. At one point, they came to a river and saw a woman struggling to cross. One monk immediately carried her across and set her down safely. The 2 monks continued their journey. But hours later, the second monk was still upset. He said, "Why did you carry that woman? We monks should not even touch women." The first monk calmly replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story reminds us, we carry many things in our hearts long after the moment has passed: grudges, regrets, disappointments, but these are heavy burdens. By letting them go, we make space for peace. So how can we practice letting go? Release expectations. Stop demanding that life or people always match your desires. Accept them as they are. Forgive, not because others always deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Simplify. The fewer things you cling to, the freer and lighter you feel. Letting go is not weakness. It is courage, the courage to trust life's flow, to accept impermanence, and to walk freely without chains. When you learn to let go, you discover the truth. Freedom is happiness. Compassion, Happiness shared is happiness multiplied. True happiness is not only found within, it grows even greater when shared with others. Compassion is the bridge that connects your peace with the peace of the world. The Buddha taught, if you light a lamp for someone, it will also brighten your path. Compassion means opening your heart, feeling the suffering of others, and wishing to ease it. When you practice compassion, you transform not only their lives but also your own. A compassionate heart is a joyful heart, because it is not closed off or limited, it is wide, spacious, and free. Think about the times you helped someone, even in a small way, offering a smile, listening without judgment, or giving what you could. Didn't that moment fill your heart with warmth? That is the natural happiness of compassion. There's a story of the Buddha meeting a grieving mother who lost her only child. She begged him to bring her child back to life. The Buddha gently asked her to find a mustard seed from any household untouched by death. She searched from home to home but could not find one. Returning to the Buddha, she realized that suffering touches every family. Through compassion, she not only found peace with her loss, but also the strength to live on. How can we practice compassion daily? Small acts of kindness. Smile at a stranger, hold the door, give a word of encouragement. These small things matter. Listen deeply. Sometimes, the greatest gift is simply to hear someone fully. Wish well, even silently. Send loving thoughts. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. The beauty of compassion is that it multiplies. The more you give, the more you receive. It creates a ripple effect. Your kindness inspires others, and together, the world becomes a little more peaceful. Compassion reminds us, happiness is not just about me, it's about we, and in lifting others, we rise too. Bringing happiness into everyday life. So, let's pause and reflect. Happiness is not something distant or difficult. It's not waiting at the end of a long journey. It's here, in the way we breathe, think, and live each day. The Buddha's timeless wisdom teaches us that happiness is found in living in the present moment, being content with enough, caring for your mind, practicing mindfulness in daily life, choosing simplicity, feeling gratitude, letting go of what weighs you down, sharing compassion. If you begin to practice even one of these teachings, you will notice a shift in your life. Your days will feel lighter, your heart more open, your mind more peaceful. Remember, happiness is not given by the outside world. It is cultivated inside you, moment by moment, and the more you practice, the stronger it grows. So starting today, breathe deeply, smile gently, and live with awareness. Carry gratitude in your heart, and let compassion guide your actions. In this way, you create not just a happier life for yourself, but also for everyone around you. Stay present, stay grateful, stay compassionate, and may you discover joy in every moment. If this message touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need this wisdom. Together, let's spread peace, kindness, and happiness.